In this video, I'm going to give you my top 5 favorite Unifi products as of the recording of this video, which is late July 2025. Did your favorite product make the list? Stick around to find out. Rogue Support has been helping customers with their network needs for well over 2 years now, and we've got an army of amazing network technicians standing by to help you as well. Just like we helped Jeff D, who said, "Alex did a great job helping me transfer to a new Ubiquiti UDMSE after my previous one unexpectedly stopped working. I would definitely use his services again, 5-star review." We also helped Daniel H, who said, "This was my first time using Rogue Support and I was very impressed by the knowledge level of George. He navigated through Office 365 admin and had my issue diagnosed almost immediately. Highly recommended, 5-star review." So if you need technical assistance with your network, wireless, or related services, give Rogue Support a try today. It's as simple as opening up a ticket on the web at rogue.support and you'll be well on your way to a worry-free network. All right, now let's hop right into my top 5 Unifi products for 2025, and we're gonna start in no particular order with the Switch Ultra. When this switch was first introduced, I was like, okay, great, another 8-port switch, whoop-de-doo. But when you look closer, this switch has some really unique and versatile features. So first, it can take in PoE++ power in the rear of the switch, leaving the 7 front ports open for your devices. That means that this is the perfect switch for a workbench or a desktop because the uplink is in the back. But they also made it versatile in terms of power output. The power method you use, whether that's PoE++ in the rear or AC power with the optional 60 watt or 210 watt power adapter, determines how much power is available to the devices that are plugged into the 7 gigabit ports across the front. So you can kind of customize the capabilities and the price of this switch depending on your needs. When you've maxed out your power with the 210 watt AC adapter, you get over 200 watts of power for your devices. And finally, one thing I love about the Switch Ultra is that it has a magnetic mounting plate, which allows you to install it onto any metal surface, and it holds on pretty good. I've actually got one magnetized to the back of my main office network rack so that I can plug in devices that I'm testing up on the top. My new favorite Unifi access point is the U7 Pro XG, and there is a lot to like about this device. So first of all, it comes in either white or black, which is a really cool option aesthetically. It's got a 10 gig uplink port, and it's only $10 more than the U7 Pro. But that's not why this access point made the list. I love the story behind the design. So Unifi access points have been the same sort of like UFO shape for years, circular with like a bulbous front and an LED ring in the center. But Ubiquiti engineers came out with a new lineup of access point, the E7 series. The E7 series access points are their enterprise grade APs, and they were specifically designed for large, dense deployments. Now, a ton of R&D went into those E7 APs for high availability and heat dissipation, and it's where we first saw this stepped metal back design. Well, after the E7 APs came out, the engineers took the lessons that they learned from that design process and they put it into the Pro XG and XGS access point. So now we still have a circular design, but it's got a much flatter face and we have that stepped metal backplate. For $10 more than the U7 Pro, you get almost the exact same performance, but you get to take advantage of the design engineering that they put into the E7 series, and you get an upgraded 10 gig NIC. I mean, this is absolutely a no-brainer. All right, now we get to the first gateway device on the list, and that is the UCG Fiber, or Cloud Gateway Fiber. I think this is maybe the most perfect desktop form factor gateway device that Ubiquiti has ever made. The Cloud Gateway Fiber has Unifi OS on board, so it can run the full suite of Unifi applications. Around the back, we've got 2 10 gig SFP+ ports. Those are for multi-gig WAN connectivity or for connecting out to 10 gigabit switches. It's also got one 10 gig and four 2.5 gig RJ45 ports, one of which can supply power to a device like an access point or a surveillance camera. The UCG Fiber is also super versatile in its WAN connectivity. You can configure any one of these ports to be a WAN port. On mine here, you see I've got the WAN set to RJ45 port 1, which leaves both of the 10 gig SFP plus ports for LAN connections. And in fact, you can configure up to 6 out of the 7 available ports as WAN ports on the UCG Fiber. So for those keeping score, that means it's got sextuple WAN capability. Next on the list is probably the most controversial pick. It's the UK Ultra, also known as the Swiss Army Knife access point. And while it's definitely not going to be winning any awards for the name that they chose to go with, I do think this is a brilliant product. It may have seemed a bit crazy when Ubiquiti released a Wi-Fi 5 access point when they were already coming out with Wi-Fi 7 access points, but I've already found a ton of uses for this device. I mean, it's relatively cheap, coming in 89 bucks, but the form factor and the build quality is top notch. The UK Ultra is built to last. It's IPX6 weatherproof, which means you can deploy it basically anywhere. It also barely sips power using a maximum of 8 watts total. I always keep one of these in my network bag if I ever need to quickly deploy an access point. And it would also work great for like off-grid deployments, emergency networks, or just anywhere where you need a super portable access point that still packs enough power for a good amount of connected devices. Now, this one in particular, I use in my backyard, and it's powered up by my solar setup that I've got on my garden shed. This gives me excellent coverage to the entire backyard, but the common thread here between a lot of my top 5 picks is versatility. And the UK Ultra definitely provides that. You can use it indoor, you can use it outdoor. There's a ton of mounting options, whether on the wall or the ceiling or like in a desktop mount. It even has a bunch of accessories such as a panel antenna that gives it extra range or omnidirectional antennas that make it omnidirectional. So it's a super cool little access point and one that I would recommend any Unifi installer have on hand as a spare. Now, before we get to the last item on the list, there are links to everything that I've discussed here in this video down in the description below. And be sure to check out the new and improved Unifi Product Selector at UIProductSelector.com. With the UI Product Selector, you can use our handy filters to find exactly which Unifi devices are best suited for your deployment. You can then add all of those devices into a kit and even share your network builds publicly. For Unifi installers, this is a super handy way to virtually build out a network that then generates a single link that you can send to your customers so that they know exactly what to purchase. It's like PC part picker for Unifi equipment. You can find the UI Product Selector at UIProductSelector.com. Okay, last but definitely not least in my list of top 5 favorite Unifi devices for 2025 is the Pro Max lineup of switches with Etherlighting. I'm talking about the whole lineup of these Etherlighting switches. When these switches first arrived, and we all found out that Ubiquiti had added RGB to the Ethernet ports of these new switches, it was received with very mixed results. It seemed that everyone who saw these switches either loved them or hated them, but I'm convinced to this day that the haters just haven't had one to play with because I think they're super cool. Not only do they look super cool, especially during the boot up sequence, and more especially when paired with the Etherlighting network cables that are specifically designed to enhance the Etherlighting effect, but they're also actually useful. You can customize the RGB on each of these ports based on the connected device speed or by VLAN assignment, which is how I use mine. In my own network, I've got a 16-port Pro Max switch set up so that the pink port on the far left is my internet VLAN so that I can run my WAN wherever I want it. The green ports are for IoT devices, and the blue ports are my standard secure LAN. One of the reasons I love these switches so much is because innovations in network switches are few and far between. Or to put it another way, network switches are kind of boring, right? Like, I've turned down more vendors than I can count who want me to review their new network switches because there's just nothing exciting about another 24-port switch. But Etherlighting, that's exciting, and that's exactly the type of innovation that we love to see from a company like Ubiquiti. Okay, so those are my top 5 favorite Ubiquiti products here in the middle of 2025, and I'm definitely excited to see what's in store for the rest of the year. I will tell you that I already have at least one product that I'm not allowed to talk about yet that probably would have made this list if it had been released already, but maybe we'll save that one for 2026. Thanks so much for watching. If you would take away any of these devices and add your own devices, put that down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what your top 5 list is. And if you'd like to keep this party going, I have hand selected a couple of videos on the right here for you to watch next. The top video is my original Unifi Basics video where I demystify Unifi's product lineup to help you decide which devices are best for you. And the bottom video is my recent recommendations for folks who want 10 gig networking in their home.